On this episode of Kicked in the Junk, we chat with Brandon Tompkins. Brandon's been through a near-death experience. We learn about what that was like, the stresses of that event, the effects on the family, the effects on his life, and really look for the wisdom and what he's gained through this type of event. I hope you enjoy. All right, Brandon. Well, thanks for being here. I really appreciate you coming down and chatting with me. Known you, I think, since we were kids.
Oh, easy, yeah.
And yeah, why don't you just maybe share a little bit about your kicked in the junk experience and when life kicked you in the junk.
Yeah, no, about 4 years ago, I had a pretty serious motorbike accident, as you're aware, and it really changed my life in like many ways, more than one way.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
Well, so your motorcycle. Sorry, let's dive into the accident.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was a motorcycle accident. No, I heard about an accident, but I don't actually remember what happened. Like,
Okay.
how old were you? Let's paint the picture.
Okay, yeah, no, for sure.
So how old were you?
I think 26 years old.
Okay.
I was 20.
Young buck.
Yeah,
full of piss
definitely.
and vinegar.
Yeah, 2016. Or sorry, 2018.
Yep.
And I was working up north at the time, doing my week on, week off rotation
Mm-hmm.
as a heavy equipment operator.
Okay.
And it was Saturday afternoon. I was craving some wood fire as always.
Mm-hmm.
Got to get that roast beef on Kaiser whenever I'm in
So
town.
Man, I just love that place. It's so good.
And so yeah, it was just another day.
Mm-hmm.
Des was at home with Emery. I was just gonna run out for some food, so I threw on the helmet and thinking it was just gonna be a quick trip there and back. I wore sandals, a sweater, and shorts. Like it was no
The
gear.
Kelowna,
Yeah,
the Kelowna, you know.
exactly. Hop on, go for a cruise, enjoy the risk, and
Yeah.
and hope nothing happens. Well, coming home, Des called me when I was done at Woodfire. Said, "Hey, I'll be home in like 5-10 minutes."
Yeah.
And then on my way home, I was going through an intersection and had the green light, and a young lady turned in front of me, and I only had maybe a second or two to kind of
Yeah.
oh shit, what am I gonna do here?
Yeah.
And so I was going head on with her, so I thought maybe turning in the direction that she was going might help make things a little bit less worse, you know.
You have a half a second to respond.
Yeah,
What do
man.
you do? You know, instincts. Well, I don't know. Like,
It was
yeah.
either okay, go head on, go flying, hope for the
No,
best,
that
or
actually kind of makes sense.
try to go with
Deflect
her,
a bit,
deflect a little bit off, take some of the impact off.
Right.
But I don't think that worked in my favor, to be honest. Because as soon as my front tire contacted her car,
Yeah.
the momentum from the rear of the bike just came in and just crushed my whole left side of my body.
What?
So the arm snapped in half from the impact of hitting the car.
Oh my god.
My leg, my knee was in 6 pieces. My patella, my
Wait,
foot,
wait. Sorry, you just said it so casually.
yeah.
So my leg was in 6 pieces. No big deal. Excuse me.
Yeah,
What?
so yeah, like my kneecap shattered. It was that impactful. It shattered my
Right.
knee. It shattered my foot. My foot was in 8. My heel was broke into 8 different pieces. Yeah, so I made contact. All this happened, and as soon as I made contact, I lost like consciousness. I don't remember the next 30 seconds. Or maybe a minute or so. But next thing I know is I'm laying on the ground and like my eyes are open, but everything's black. I can't see, but I'm conscious. Like,
Wait, really?
yeah.
Like,
I thought at this moment like I'm
That's it.
dead. This is it. I'm dying. Like it was.
Holy fuck.
It was. Yeah. It was very scary.
Yeah.
So I just
Yeah.
I remember to keep breathing. Just stay awake. Don't
Yeah.
don't give in.
Don't look at the light.
Yeah, don't fall. I'm not ready yet.
It's a doctor with flashlight.
Yeah.
No, I'm not looking at that thing.
I need
Get
to
away.
save pupils.
I've seen enough movies. That's not what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
So what? Like,
So I kept breathing, and you know what? Someone was looking out for me because I had 2 trauma nurses from Kelowna Hospital that were on their way to work, that both were at the same place, both saw what happened, and started treating to me right away.
oh my god.
And so I just remembered keep breathing. Eventually, my vision came back, and I realized, okay, I'm pretty banged up. I was in an accident, trying to just process what just happened. So
How? I've never been in that moment. I've never been in a moment like that in my life. Thank God. But that moment, did it feel like a while? As soon as you, like, when you're flying through the intersection, and you see this person turning. Did it feel like it? Because it was probably that quick.
Yeah, it was that quick, but yeah,
in your head.
It felt longer in the head, 100%. It was like, that's where I felt like, okay, I got a few seconds to kind of come up with something. But again, I had to think quick in order to be able to do anything other than the inevitable. So
yeah, and it's fascinating that our bodies have that ability to slow down time.
Spidey sense.
Yeah, and what it is, it's your body's just like waking up. Your senses take in a huge amount of information quickly and processes it super fast.
It's pretty crazy.
So it is wild. That blows me away. So you're on the ground. You realize you can see after how long were you?
Probably a couple minutes.
Did it feel like? Yeah.
Yeah. I was laying there. Obviously, I had people around me right away, starting to tend to me because I didn't feel my arm at the time.
No.
And so like I'm trying to like get up, my foot and my knee, like I feel that pain. I didn't feel anything with my arm actually. Like I was moving my fingers, but I was laying there because I was like, okay, I don't know, something's wrong with my neck or my back. They got my helmet off, and then. From there I was like, okay, helmet's off, let's try and move, but everyone's like, no, don't move. I looked over at my arm and it was disgusting, man. Like
spaghetti.
Clean break. It was like my skin was twisted. I looked over and I'm like, okay, I'm really messed up right now. I just need to listen to someone else. So
that's a odd moment of surrender,
dude. It was like, okay, that was like I'm really banged up.
What did that feel like? Being having no control.
To be honest, the only thing I was thinking about was my wife is gonna kill me. I'm not even thinking about this. I'm late for a movie. I'm like 45 minutes late at this point. Like after everything happened, I feel my phone vibrating. I'm like, I know who that is. I'm gonna be in so much trouble. And she doesn't even know what happened yet.
Not even concerned for your own health.
Yeah.
That is a husband right there. Yeah. That is a man.
So yeah, I got tended to. The ambulance came, scooped me on the board, put me in the back of the ambulance, and again my phone's going off. It's ringing, and I was like begging the attendants. I was like, please, can you answer that call? Just tell my wife like I'm okay, but what happened?
I'm not dead, but I'm
they're
pretty
like,
close.
Brand, we need to deal with you right now because they were moving around, and all I'm thinking about is like, oh, Des is gonna kill me. And no, it's fine, but that's the truth.
If this doesn't kill me, she will.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my god.
So they just pumped me up with some morphine, and I passed out. Yeah. And then next thing I remember is I woke up in the hospital with mom, dad, Des, and Emery just standing over top of me. I'm laying on a bed. Oh my god. My body's all immobilized with boards and everything, not moving. I had to do all the tests. Had to talk to the police officer that wanted my report right after. Right. Didn't give me much time to actually process it. Yeah. But so yeah, no, that was my kick in the junk.
Wow.
Going on from there is just a long hospital recovery, staying in the hospital for 3-4 months, not being able to wipe my own ass, and just
so let's dive into that a little bit. Well, I guess I want to back up just a second. At that moment, so you're driving down the highway, somebody turns, split second, feels like a few moments, but you smash, it's all black. Did you think you were dead?
100%, yeah. I thought that was it. I didn't know if
what was going through your head then. Okay, I'm dead. Like, what was going through your head? Was there any like
just Des and Em, my wife and daughter. Yeah. Obviously my family. Like, that moment felt like a while. Just yeah, it was scary. It was
absolutely.
I don't know really how to describe other than it was a whole lot of I'm gonna miss them. Is this it? Is this what it feels like to die?
Yeah.
Because again, knowing what just happened in my head, but then the pitch black was the scary part. Like eyes are open, but I can't. There's no vision. But I'm breathing. I'm able to like move around a little bit. But it's like, what just happened? Am I severely messed up where I can't see anymore? Like
am I in pieces right now?
Yeah,
like quite literally, or just
so much running through the head at that moment.
Yeah.
It immediately calmed down after, obviously, once I started.
But that moment, I bet if there's a hell, I bet that's if there's a hell, that's probably pretty close.
That's what it felt like, yeah. Yeah,
'Cause,
obviously
no,
I didn't have
lung-
much physical pain at the moment,
Right,
but
right.
that loss of, oh man, I just want to hold my daughter. I want to see my wife, my friends, family.
Yeah.
Is all that gone?
Yeah,
That's what was going through my head at that moment. Was okay, this is it. This is how I go out.
Man, I don't know how many people. I mean, there are people that experience that, but I don't think many people. Me and my wife talk this lots. It's we go through our daily lives and we're this, and then we're complaining and stressing about things we don't really matter, and then you have a moment like this where you're none of that matters. Getting your kids to soccer game doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Missing a car payment doesn't really matter.
Very humbling. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. All this other bullshit that we get caught up on, and the new TV show that what did somebody said on Instagram, like just whatever we get so like focused on that we forget, like
wrapped up in the little things, but then realize
like,
these big things are still happening.
This is my tribe. This is like this is what's important
for sure.
Right. So okay. So this is interesting. So you're at the hospital and you wake up. Family's around you. You can't move.
Yeah.
Let's dive into that a little bit, because I know personally, like if I like have a sore quad, I'm like, oh, I'm getting so frustrated. Emily's laughing at me because I'm sore and I'm like frustrated and trying to, because I like to, I'm very physical and I'm active, be active. Yep. So to have any little hiccup for me is like, what is going on?
That's exactly that feeling. I mean, I love my sports. I love being active and being stuck in a bed, not being able to move your head, anything, and just you're in pain, and they can't give you anything just yet. They gotta troubleshoot the problem, see what's going on, then give you the medication for whatever the issue is. So there was a couple hours where I'm just like, my knee and my foot, obviously I feel that. My arm is starting to feel painful after the adrenaline kind of came down a bit. But the first couple hours it sucked because they wanted to see if I had any internal bleeding, which I didn't even think about at the time. And so like,
I'm awake. What do you mean?
Yeah. Like, okay, I see the broken arm. I know something's up with my leg.
Yeah.
But the doctors, that was scary because I was like, okay, like you think about, okay, what's going on in the inside? Like, if there's that much impact to snap my arm in half, what else kind of shifted, right?
Yep.
And so after a few hours, I was really having trouble breathing. It was just painful in my chest, and I broke my sternum right in half. And they didn't troubleshoot that for a little while.
Right.
And so after a bit, it was like, okay, a little understandable why you're having trouble breathing. Any cough, any hiccup, it was the worst. Forget the arm, forget everything else. It was the worst, and it crept on. Like, I didn't feel it at the accident. It was at the hospital.
Adrenaline, right?
Yeah.
Such a win.
Oh man.
So thank God for that adrenaline sometimes.
Saves you some pain.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the worst part. Just talking, anything, just moving, because you take a breath and it moves. Your whole chest is moving, right?
Yeah.
So it was just not fun, not enjoyable. And then again, pain medications. Once you get past all the X-rays and CT scans, they don't want to just dose you. It's little bits, but it was not enough at first. Like, I was in pain constantly for days, weeks. Just constantly asking the nurse, like, hey, can I have another dose, because it wore off so quick. I just remember this one night, my knee and my foot were killing me. I didn't sleep the whole night. It was just excruciating. I'm all alone. No one's there. No one's allowed staying with you overnight.
Especially in that condition.
And I called my mom and I was in tears. I was like, it was tough. Being alone and in pain, it wasn't fun.
No. I think, to me, I think really that's the moment. That's the moment when you're like you said, you're alone.
Everything's
my body
processed.
hurts. I can't sleep. This has happened to me. Am I gonna, am I gonna be like this forever?
Exactly.
Right? Like, that's a fear. Like, I even think about not being able to run, and like, I want to cry.
That was my thing. Right? Like, I'm never gonna be able to play hockey again, and that's my passion.
Yeah.
There was so much like I don't want this right now. Why did this
Yeah.
happen?
Yeah.
So much anger, so much
Right.
hate. Why didn't that lady look or take an
Yeah.
extra second? So much negativity going on at the
course.
hospital. At my first night there, Des ended up staying the night with me.
Yeah.
She wasn't
awesome.
supposed to, and I managed to like make a room for her on the bed because
Yeah.
it was tough for her too, obviously, right?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
And so we were like cuddling on the bed, and this one nurse, she was just a cow. You can't be on there with him, blah blah blah. Just making a big deal out of a comfortable situation, like.
Yeah, like, dude, lady,
I know, yeah.
I'm a human spaghetti right now. Like,
Yeah.
my wife's here to
Comfort
me for
Yeah.
a bit. Like, don't. Like,
She.
I mean,
yeah.
thank God for them.
Yeah.
I've, my experience as being a trainer, I've trained lots of nurses, and they do have a tough job, and I'm always so grateful for what they do.
100%.
But I mean, it's like any field. There's there's a lot of good people, and you got one person that you're like, don't be by the rule book
Yeah.
right now.
was-
know what I mean?
It was just another negative situation after
Yeah.
what just happened. But
Yeah.
after that, I was, man, again, someone looking out for me. Normally in hospitals, you gotta share a room with 3, 4, 6 people.
Yep.
I got private rooms the entire time I was there.
No, okay.
Just
yeah.
because a room opened up, and I was nice to the nurses, treat them with respect. A lot of the conversations from the older people were just nurses take a beating in more ways than one.
Oh man, I've heard about it lots. It's so mad respect for them. They do have a tough
100%.
job.
But if I just, again, being me, I'm a personal guy, so
Mm-hmm.
just being nice, respectful as much as I can while I'm in this situation. Every time I got moved 2 or 3 times to private rooms, and it was just like I had my own TV. It was quiet. I could call whoever. More room for people to come visit. So it was good. It was making the situation a little bit better. There were good things that happened to me there, but overall, like it was the worst. Worst few weeks of just I can't move my arm. It's in a sling. I can't move my leg. Trying to get up and go to the washroom. Like not being able to shower for weeks. I shower every day. I scrub. I use a bar soap every day.
Yeah.
And that was just like, it was like, this is not me. This is not my life. I don't want this to be my new life.
This is the low.
100%.
So when you're at that moment, that low. Well, let's start. What were the big emotions coming through? What were we feeling? And then yeah, we kind of.
Again, loneliness was the big one, and pain obviously.
Yeah.
But the loneliness of just, I'm a big mama's boy.
Yeah.
Again, everything was just taken from me. Like in a split second of that accident happening, whole life just changed. And trying to process, okay, well, I can't play hockey anymore. I can't hold my daughter anymore. I can't walk up and down stairs. I can't go to the washroom by myself. It's like just everything changes. Because learning, I had to learn how to use my leg again, use my arm again, basically. And it was just challenging constantly. Just a new battle, a new feeling, a new nerve, a new something. The whole process through.
So during that time, again, your wife was there, and that's amazing. And it's amazing to have family in town here, and they were able to be there. How did that affect your family? How did this affect your family?
Oh, for sure. No, big time. Hospital was one thing. We were living up in Magic Estates at the time, and my parents were up in Black Mountain. So if you know Kelowna, it's a little bit, it's pretty spread out. With traffic nowadays, probably 30-minute drive.
Yeah.
And so we were living up there, and Des would have to commute. She came every day. Every day commuting, finding someone to watch Emery so that she could come during Emery's nap time or something like that. It threw a huge kink in her day, her time, and her emotions.
Right.
And then after the hospital, when I was finally able to go out, I couldn't go back living at Magic Estates with them because there was like 20 or something stairs that I had to go down to get into our basement suite there. And I wasn't doing that in a wheelchair there or anything. So I then had to go move in with mom and dad in Black Mountain for 8 months or something like that. Dad had to build like a makeshift ramp just so that we could get the wheelchair in.
Yeah.
I had to get a hospital bed in there, one that could move and adjust to my arm, because with my arm, it definitely needed surgery, but I refused at first because I was scared.
Right. Yeah.
I was just like, surgery. You watch
Don't
it
cut me
on TV,
open.
but yeah, exactly.
I've watched the doctor. Yeah, I've watched the ER and these shows too much. I know.
I know what's going on.
Yeah.
Not
Somebody
interested.
always dies. Don't let it be me.
Yeah.
I'm already down.
I've gone through enough.
Yeah.
So the surgeon said that if I was good with my arm, it could just heal, like gravity could heal it. Just keep it straight over time. Don't move it. And that was the harder route, obviously, because I can't move, I can't adjust, I can't shift. If it moves, then I have to go in for surgery. And so when I was at home, just again having to get into the shower somehow, moving around lots, my arm shifted to like, it was just so offset where nothing lined up.
Yeah.
So it caused me enough pain to where I was like, okay, I need to go in and get the surgery.
And so I'm sure going through your head, you're going, okay, well, surgery again. That means I'm back in the hospital. That means I'm back to that. That hell.
Another week in there, I had to wait a few days, and they wanted to monitor me, so it was back in there. Shitty food. I mean, I was very fortunate because Des and Mom, anytime that they came, it was like, okay, here's Subway, here's Woodfire or something.
Woodfire.
Dude, cool story. I was in there, and the guys at Woodfire, like I've been going there since I was like 5. Like I know everyone there, like family, and so no one knows how they found out. But one day, this kid Matthew, who was working there, a young kid, he shows up at my hospital room with like 4 cordon bleus, some roast beef on Kaiser.
There is a guy.
I know. And just randomly, he's like, "Hey man, we heard what happened." Could never figure out how they found out.
That's amazing.
But the owner there was like, "Hey, let's go give Brandon some food."
Yeah.
And it was nice. Like I had a lot of unexpected visitors in the hospital that were truly blessings in disguise. Just helped me. God touched their hearts so that they would just be like, you know, Brandon could just use your random visit, you know?
Yeah.
And it just helped me. Every time I got discouraged, it was like, okay, you know what, just keep going. Right. So just many stories like that.
So during that time, then again, obviously it's tough on your wife. I'm sure after when you guys moved on, it was super tough on the relationship because now she's got 2 kids to look after.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, down the road for sure.
So who was that inspiration when you were there? Like, who was that person? Who was your rock? When you were at the hospital, that lowest of low, who was your rock, you think?
To be honest, I don't think I had one at the hospital.
Okay.
It was a tough time.
So it was just you? It
was just me. I'm a man of faith, but I didn't understand at first. I again been working up north for the last 8-9 years, and in my prayers I constantly say, Father, help me get back home. I don't want to do this for the rest of my life. Help me get out of this situation. Help me learn certain things. And the accident happened. I'm just like,
it's not what I meant.
I was angry. I didn't understand. And so I think in the hospital, at least way after the hospital, I was just
went home.
Thoughts of thoughts of suicide sometimes. I couldn't stand not thinking of running again or again picking up Emery. I couldn't do that. Every time they came over to visit, a rubber back, and it's just I just wanna hold you. Pretty emotions.
You know what? It's I got 2 kids, and you know, I think not that I've had nearly as bad as that, but I've had a few concussions and blacked out and whatever, and I remember just being like, right, like I want to be able to still, like, you know, or if I even think about being in accidents, like I still want to be able to lift my kids and pick them up, and this is that's my motivation for one of the biggest motivations why I work out all the time, because I know that like if you're strong and resilient and you have good bone density, all these things, like life does kick you in the junk
for sure.
And this is just not that I'm wanting that to happen, but if it does, I got a better chance.
That 45-year-old dad, I can't play ball, son. I hurt my back today.
Yeah, exactly. No, you want to be able to do those things because that's what it's about, right? That's what life's about is those moments, picking up your kid after that. I mean, you know, your kid's first day from school, picking, you know, like all these like beautiful moments. When, you know, I was lucky enough to be at your guys' wedding, marrying your wife, like being able to, like, you were standing for that.
I know,
right? Like you're up and this is just after the wheelchair, being, you know, those moments, like that's what it's about, and you want to hold on to those. So that's, you know, being able to for me, it's like make sure I have the physical ability to do that.
For sure.
And so so I could see that being, such a big motivator. I mean, I'm sure for all parents, but
Definitely.
but to be able to, just have that such a extreme.
Yeah,
they definitely inspired. So go ahead, yeah.
Oh no, just it was quite a little bit of time after living at my mom's. Lots of arguments with the wife, just because.
I was gonna ask. Okay.
Oh yeah, man, it put a kink in the marriage where it was like.
Let's talk about.
Or we weren't even married at the time. Yeah. Right. Funny, the day after the accident, it was a Sunday I got in my accident, and I was actually gonna propose the day after. Yeah, I had this whole thing planned up at Knox Mountain, and I was gonna make it special. But that threw a kink in the plans also.
Oh my God, I didn't know that.
Yeah. That was my plan. Had the ring already.
Really?
But
so you're gonna go to Knox Mountain and
I was gonna go to Knox Mountain.
Did you have something prepped?
I did. Yeah, I was gonna have an Avs jersey, of course, the Colorado Avalanche jersey.
Yeah.
With my last name on it, asking her to join my team. So I had this little thing, had a photographer, and it was obviously sports themed. I was gonna do something a little bit of me.
Yours.
I had that plan, but didn't pan out that way. I ended up getting something better. She got her dream proposal, I guess. So like after the accident, we had already had a vacation booked at Disney World.
Right.
The whole family. So we made it work, I guess.
So how long was this accident? How long did you get?
So accident was in May.
And then when did you guys
go on vacation? And then we went on vacation end of September, I think.
Okay. So 6 months?
Yeah, it was like a couple months like hospital, and then living with mom, but I was in wheelchair. Once I got the surgery on my arm, like I was able to the arm was like fine. I should have just done that from the
nice. Stupid me.
Arm was fine. It was sore. The staples coming out just felt uncomfortable.
Sure.
And then just having a big rod and a bunch of screws in the arm. It took some adjusting. Just weird feelings. Because all your muscles and your nerves, it's just like, okay, I've been around bone my whole life. What's this big chunk of metal, and you feel it in your arm. So it
really? I did not know that. That's wild.
It was definitely.
You feel it. Oh.
Feel the muscles just moving around it, and just you feel the metal in there because you can.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah, it's weird feeling.
Totally.
And the myth that people say, like people with metal in their body, that they can tell the weather. It's not a myth. It's so true.
Really?
Oh yeah. Like
I've heard that. So I was, like I said, I was training for 8 years, and I'd hear it all the time, and I'd be, oh, I see somebody grab their knee. Yeah. It's gonna rain soon. I'm like, dude, like, what are you talking about?
It might not be for everybody, but for me, it's like, okay, like if I feel sore, if the arm feels sore in this one spot, it's like we got some cold weather coming. I predicted snow like a couple times now without even looking at the
So you got
the
a
weather
superpower out of it.
Yeah.
Watch out, Superman.
There's been some silver linings for sure.
I'm going to join the Avengers there.
Yeah.
Tell them the weather.
I can tell the weather.
Yeah. 80%.
I want to be Storm.
Can you change weather?
No.
That's crazy.
I can tell you when storm's coming.
Yeah, that's about it. It's the good weather, man. There you
go. We had this Disneyland trip booked. Or Disney World, sorry.
Yeah.
And that was the worst time, worst vacation I've ever had. One, the humidity was like 98% while we were down
Florida,
there.
Right?
Florida.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I'm in a wheelchair. I'm having to wheel myself around up and down, and it's just one, not fun, really hot. Plus dealing with Emery, she was only maybe 10 months old at the time.
Oh,
so
I didn't know she's that young.
Yeah, she was young. So before the accident, we had this trip plan. It was like, oh, we can make it work. Obviously, we got us two, mom, dad, Danny, Jen. Like, we had some help. But people started getting like food sick over the course of our travels there. So like throwing up, not doing
now
it.
They're out. Yeah,
they're out, can't help. Des got sick, so me and her are trying to deal with Emery while I'm crippled and she's sick, throwing up. Like, the whole trip was just a write-off. Lots of, like, obviously had some good moments, some fun times.
Yeah.
But on our way back, it was the tip of the iceberg. We're flying from Florida to Toronto. Toronto is supposed to be over to I think Calgary. Okay. And we're flying over Saskatchewan, and we hear is there a doctor on board? They come on the PA, says, is there a doctor on board? Someone's having a medical emergency.
I'm okay.
And I'm like, oh gosh, like
me.
what's happening? So we're flying, watching the GPS thing that you can watch on the airplane screen there. We're getting close to Edmonton, like coming down, getting into Calgary, which is where we were landing. Yeah. And they decided to turn us around, and I'll finish. They turned us around back to Regina.
Oh, no.
So we had to go land in Regina. We sat on the tarmac there for like 2 hours.
Yeah.
We ran out of bottles in Toronto. We're like, hey, it's just one flight over to Calgary. We can get Emery some milk, and we'll be happy. Back to Regina, sat there. Emery is just screaming the entire plane, staring at us, just like, shut that baby up. And it was just the worst time ever. Again, I'm still injured, tired. Des is tired from the trip. Everyone's tired. Emery's going off. Like, it was just not a fun... not what we had planned in the first place.
So this is one of those falls during this
Exactly. It was just like, okay, let's go Disney World.
Yeah, I'm getting better. Yeah.
And then
and then life hits you again, gives you another sock.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So...
so how did that kind of... I guess that was another low. How did you learn from that process? Or?
We did. So actually, one more quick point.
Oh yeah.
I actually proposed to Des in front of the castle in Disney World.
Okay, I actually remember seeing the picture. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I was in my wheelchair, and it was tough, but I managed to get down on one knee.
Okay. Yeah.
In my brace and everything, and I got down on one knee. I made it as special as I could.
Yeah.
And we had like a crowd of like 100, 200 people just coming around, clapping, cheering.
Yeah.
It was a special moment. So we definitely got our dream engagement proposal. She did.
Yeah.
It was just nice. All these people made it that much more special. So,
that's awesome. So there was a bit of
a silver lining in the story. One positive or a few positive moments.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then so just a few kinks in between there, between the hospital and the trip. Just living with Mom again.
What's that's like? So I know personally I moved out at 18. I was like,
that was
Dad. I'm out.
Yeah, that was me
done with your shenanigans. I don't want to do this. See ya. How's that coming back now? Because now I know I can do it.
Yeah, no, man. If I didn't have my mom, like, she was mom like in high school when I broke my collarbone and got injured. Down and out of school, got like 4 or 5 months behind. I broke both and was like strapped to the bed like this. Couldn't move my arms down. This is your
first rodeo.
No,
I didn't know that.
And the nurses at the hospital know me by name. I come in, they're like, Brandon, what's up?
Surgeons like, oh yeah, this guy.
They know Mom and Dad. They're like, oh, the Tompkins family's here again.
Yeah. Oh, I guess it's Brandon again.
Yeah.
This guy can't not break a bone.
Exactly. No, I had lots of injuries. So like, but so can't do anything like school wise. Mom was doing like, sorry teachers, but she was doing like all my homework, trying to just keep me going, right?
That's a mom right there.
Yeah, like
that's awesome.
She'd do anything.
I don't know if that's good, but I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it didn't help.
She tried to talk it over me, but I'm just like, yeah, I don't care. But she just, she cared. She cared enough about me that she would do anything to help me. So moving back in with her was honestly, it was just what I needed. Mama's touch.
Sure. Yeah. Of course.
Making me food.
Yeah.
Changing my my boxers, whatever it is, like
totally.
You're
not mobile.
I'm not mobile. I can't do anything. So
a little humbling,
dude.
Like
it totally. What a 360 from what pre-accident to this. It's like, you know what, Mom, thank you. It was embarrassing at first.
Yeah,
but
of course.
After that, you know what, you get the mindset. It's like, you know what, my mom loves me and she's here to help me.
Was there hesitation at first?
Oh, dude, there was hesitation with the cute nurses at the hospital. I like having to be like, okay, no, I'm holding this. I can hold this for a couple weeks if I have to. She's not helping me. Yeah, yeah.
You look too good.
To the point where it's like I'm cramping up. It's coming out. I need help. And yeah,
that's wow. So definitely some humility.
Very much so. But no, she always, if I needed anything, she was there. If I wanted food from down the hill, whatever it was.
Sure, yeah.
Mom was just there for me, and so
That's awesome.
I had all the support I needed.
So thank you, moms.
Yeah, thanks, moms. Yeah, you're the best.
Yeah. So how was? I'm curious then. So, how was your relationship, or the relationship between your wife and your mom? Was there any butting heads, or were they a pretty good unit, or like?
No.
'Cause I know that's a thing.
It is a thing.
It can be a thing.
I'm very blessed in that aspect. My wife worked with my mom before I even met my wife.
Oh, I didn't know. Oh,
yeah, they worked at Shoppers together. Mom was the manager of the post office, and Des was did something. I think.
Yeah.
And so every time I come into Mom's work, if she needed something or whatever, I'd be like, oh hey Des, cute girl, hello. Just kept poking the bear a bit, and then kept asking for her number, trying to just get to know her a bit, because my mom and Des's grandma, who worked there too, were, Brandon's such a good guy, you really should talk to him.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, but she for a whole year I was like got nothing, and I was up at work one day doing night shift. It was like midnight, and I got a random Facebook message with just a phone number. I'm like, score, finally paid off.
It worked.
And so that's how I met her. But she had already been really good friends with my mom, and
nice.
I don't think they've ever butted heads once. Like,
wow.
Not even a disagreement. Like, again, my mom's always been like a mom to her also. So it was it was a great team. It was honestly, I had it really good for the situation that I was in. Hard to think about it in the moment, but when you look back at it, it's like, you know what, I was so blessed to like so many other people.
You're in a good scenario.
Yeah.
Considering how bad it was.
Dude, for sure.
So, and that, I've done some research into that. People that have gone through injuries and whatever, and you have veterans, you have like people that have been through traumatic events, and that seems to be the common denominator there, is that the ones that had a support group, that had family, that had a partner, that had a friend, that had a neighbor, somebody that just wouldn't quit on them.
People at Woodfire
random
showing
people,
up.
That had those, they get better, and they move. They're able to move forward, whereas when they don't, it's sad. There aren't people that have that support.
Just give up and
then they just go down the other path. So I guess my question is then, I know you said at the time you've done a lot of painkillers.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What was your?
Oh, that story.
Yeah. So I said, because I've done a lot of research into painkillers, and some of these they have a time and place, and definitely grateful for that.
Yeah.
But there is some drawbacks.
Yeah.
There is 100%. That it's a Band-Aid. It's good for right now, but it's not meant to be forever. So
oh man,
that process, let's talk about, because I know there's some people that can go through withdrawals and turn into can have a lot of really negative side effects.
For sure.
So
no hospital. It was, again, basically whenever I was feeling pain, after a few weeks, once instead of just juicing me up, if I needed it, they trusted me. The nurses trusted me to be like, okay, we'll give him a little bit more just to help him with his pain. When I went home, it was the discipline of stick to the schedule, like whatever it was, 2 a day, 3 a day, whatever, because you still getting pain. Like, it's not you pop this, everything's better. It's a temporary fix for your pain, and when that starts wearing off, you're like, okay, grab another one, but you don't know what that's doing to your insides, doing up here. And so there's
a cost to it. Right? It's good, but it is also it can be helpful, but there's a cost
for sure. So I was it was tough because I was constantly in pain, but I never really started popping more. I always stuck to the schedule, but I used a lot of marijuana on top of it. Just if I'm feeling pain in between my pill schedule, I'd take a dab out of the vaporizer and just mellow it down a little bit, enough to get me by to where let's more time for the heavy stuff again. So eventually down the road, the doctor, she wanted me to start cutting it up. So one pill, cut it in half, weed yourself off, sort of thing. And as I was doing that was way worse than some of the pain I experienced.
Really?
It was like, that feeling when you have to stretch, but then when you stretch, you're like, oh, I feel so much better. Like it just I had that feeling constantly for weeks of needing to stretch, of just needing to move, but that feeling wouldn't go away, and it was just so anxious and so exhausting. I couldn't sleep. It was just it was like my body was telling me, just give me a little bit more and I'll stop bugging you, you know?
So it's the body being, hey, I need this.
It was exactly
Give
the
this
body
to me now,
became,
and because it is addicting,
Yeah.
right? It can be addicting.
100%,
There's a lot
yeah.
of, especially because you're in pain, so the pain relief,
Yeah.
right?
It was the withdrawals, and
Right.
I can totally see where it's tough. That was one of the toughest battles, was
Okay.
overcoming the medication. And
Right,
I can
yeah.
see where people, they dive back in because it's a tough battle. And if you
Mm-hmm.
don't have the support, a mom checking in on you
Yeah.
every half an hour,
A wife, kid.
it's an easy way out. And
And the crazy part is our society, it's you have an injury, okay, well, it's okay, right? Or they go to the doctor and they do great work, but there is a point where it's like, I don't think they're I think you could be doing more harm
yeah,
by allowing some
Yeah.
versus, like I said, weaning off and making sure. So that's amazing that you're able to
yeah.
come out of that, because that's
Again, I used a lot of THC.
Right,
I built
right.
I built my tolerance
crazy.
up. Yeah.
Right.
No, I built my tolerance up to where it's like, okay, if I'm feeling a little bit of pain, I
Right.
weeded out
you
the hard
pushed it a
stuff
bit.
with the pot.
Did you
but
find you're pushing it a bit to try to be like, oh, I went 2 hours, or is there that kind of mentality? I guess, what was the mentality to not use that? What did you have, like, what was your...
It was just, I like to follow the rules.
Okay.
I liked, again, I know that
Yeah.
I've seen addictions, I've seen drug
Right.
problems, I know this stuff exists.
Yeah,
I've
100%.
been to many places where it's on the side of the streets, so
Yeah.
I've seen this, what can happen.
Right.
And so for me, it was just, I know right from wrong. Do I do wrong sometimes? Yes, I do.
Right.
But I know right from wrong, and I understand the risks and the consequences, and then I make my decision. Is this worth it for me? Is it not? And I stuck with that. So it was more so the feeling of overcoming the medication, the body getting it out of the
Right.
system. That was the challenge for me.
fascinating.
Not so much cutting it off, because eventually, like, I went down to half pills, quarter pills, and then it was just
That was it.
smoking weed.
Yeah.
So I followed the process. I listened to the doctors. It was
Interesting.
tough.
Yeah.
It was definitely tough, but I just followed the plan, and it worked. It helped.
So I wonder, and it always makes you wonder, like, how many, said you were in, for how awful it was, you had, family, your wife, your
yeah.
kids, you had a lot of motivation. And you said, I found that fascinating, and the hardest part was being alone.
Oh yeah.
So, like, can you imagine, like, but you knew, even when you're alone, you knew subconsciously, or even maybe not that moment, but when you came out of that moment, you'd go, okay, I knew, I got kid, I got Emery, I got the wife, I got the family, my mom. Okay, right.
Yeah.
Right. Can you imagine, like, it makes me think, like, how many people go through that,
Don't have anyone.
don't have anybody.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's like, if and this is what me and Emily are trying to talk, maybe with my wife, and we try to do is just, like, try to be there for people.
Yeah.
Be there for people when they're at their lowest.
You
It's
never know
easy to
who's
point the
gonna-
finger, try to point, don't point the finger as best we can. We're not perfect,
Yeah.
but it's like, just be there. And sometimes being there is just literally just like,
All they need.
it's just, hey man,
Thank
I
you.
got,
Thank
I'm
you.
right,
Yeah.
I'm right here.
Yeah.
And because that's all you can do. But at least then, or like the guy, like
A little bit of love.
yeah, a little bit, or showing up with Woodfire Bakery, right?
Yeah.
Like, to, like, do those things, because you don't know when somebody's could be at that moment of.
Well, that's where my rock bottom was. Like I said, is this worth it? Like, or is my family better off without me? How I am now?
Yeah.
Is this permanent? Is Des gonna have to take care of me? It's not what she wants. Like,
No.
and so
Right.
I knew what my rock bottom was, but again, I always had Des and Em. It was, you had the rock bottom, and then it was like, okay, it's not all about me.
Yeah.
I got to keep chugging along.
Right, and see, so that I find so fascinating. As you said, it's not about yourself, and as much as this world is, how we feel, and definitely it's your life. So but just this, in those moments of struggle, in those moments of why am I doing this?
Yeah.
It's for the kids, it's for your wife, it's for and if that's what it takes, 100%.
Do it, yeah.
And you know what, and I would even say sometimes, because it works, so do 100%, but maybe even it's for your life, because what other life do you want? Like, I'm sure there was more you wanted to do.
Oh, 100%.
right?
Like,
So sometimes it
yeah.
is them too, but it's also like, wait a minute, like even more so, like I'm still not done. Like, I still know, having that
Yeah.
mentality maybe.
No, that was when I started thinking about myself again. It was when I started going to physio, the chiro,
Okay.
all the recovery stage.
Yeah, let's dive into that. Yeah,
The bones are healed
yeah,
as good as I can. Now I got to figure out how to use this body again. Like I didn't use my leg for almost a year.
right.
It was locked up, healing, and so like in my mind, I've been walking my whole life, so you go to take that first step, you fall down. Like you know it up here, and you're about to do it, but the body's not doing it. It's like the mind and the body, it's like they're off sync.
Yeah.
And so that was challenging.
I bet that was another fall.
Another hurdle of just, man, I doing good. Oh no, this is just constant roller coaster.
Totally, and it's so funny. So again, I go back to my background is being a trainer, but I specialize in rehab and injuries, and that's what I always try to explain to people. Like, it isn't this. We think, okay, we have we have results up here, we have time in this, going this way, results here. The more time put in the results, and it's gonna be this perfect, perfect path. And I'm just gonna get there, no matter if I have more time. And in reality, it's like, okay, well, you put in some time and you get better, and then sometimes you get better, and it's this giant mess that one doesn't stop.
Yeah.
Right. It just keeps going. Because once you get here, you want to get further, but you are going to have those pitfalls. You are going to have these like where life just takes another shot at you, and another shot at you, and another, yeah. And but then what I realized, and this is some stuff I've been having to realize with myself too, is I do the same thing. What question? Why is this happening? This is so dumb. So angry, so stressed, whatever it is. And then it was kind of having to change. Like, well, wait a minute. Like, I know stress makes you stronger. It's a fact. Again, you look at like a tree. If you put a tree in a dome and you have the perfect scenario for it, and it grows, it's beautiful, but then it falls over. Why?
Yeah.
Because there's no wind. It needs stress.
It needs something.
We need stress. You need that. You need some good like
build you up.
Build you up.
Yeah.
So, this is part of what I've been trying to do, and is realize that when I have these stressors come into my life, instead of, oh my God, I'm over this, whatever, negative, it's like, okay, here's a battle.
Yeah.
All right, I'm putting on the war paint. I play football. I'm putting on the gear.
Yeah.
Let's it's easier said than done.
Oh, for sure.
But it's like, okay,
practice it a bit, and
I'm putting on the gear. I'm putting on my war paint. I'm here's a worthy opponment. Let's
bring it on.
All right, let's see if I can do this, right? And what it did, and it was so freeing for me, because it was like, well, wait a minute, like now these things are thrown at you. It's not why.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
Yeah.
I got this.
Yeah.
And I look back at everything, everything you've been through, and you've done. I'm sure now when you start realizing, oh, I've done the same thing. It's like you realize, like, well, if I could do that, then I can do this, and if I won here, then I can win there, and then you start realizing that you can win these things. So, for me, part of myself doing this, but then also for my kids, is, we try to be good parents, and that mentality. Oh, I want my kids to have to work, suffer, and this, but then you realize. That's what makes you stronger.
That's what builds you up. Yeah.
That's what builds them up. So now it's like having this shift, and me and my wife now are trying to like have that change. With my kids, is that like I want them to struggle and want to put them in these scenarios where they're gonna fall.
Yeah.
Want to put them in these because they can realize they're strong.
Exactly.
So when life gives them a swift kick to the junk.
Yeah. You know how to.
You can
deal with
something.
It, cope with it. Yeah.
Totally.
That's like my kids too. Like. Emery and Miko, they fall, they trip, they bump their knee. I want to go up and hug them. It's okay, I love you.
Oh my God. Yeah.
But my dad growing up, I got injured. I was on my own. Oh, it's not that bad. Pain goes away. Unless it's like broken bone, obviously. I know the severity. I'd go help the kid. All right, break your leg.
Spaghetti arm.
Yeah.
Keep going.
So it's like, I want them to realize and understand on their own. Okay, I scratch myself. It's not a big deal. Okay, then when you bruise yourself, okay, it's not a big deal. Then when you break your arm, it's like, okay, I'm hurt, but you're not screaming hysterically. It's like, okay, I've felt pain before. You build them up, get them a little bit tougher, right? Thick skin.
Yeah.
So I'm very much like that, where it's like, okay, I love you, I'm doing this because I love you.
Yes.
Nah, the tough love, you know.
It's, you know, I use the term, stress makes you strong. I always tell the kid, remember, stress makes you strong. If I'm not telling you to, you know, clean up your room and getting you to help out, and yeah, you don't like it.
Yeah.
When you move on your own, you're gonna have to do those things.
Yeah.
So why not learn it now?
Yeah.
Right? Because then it's not a big deal. You're not overwhelmed because you have to clean up your house and you have to make some food.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Or whatever. Because that, you know, there is people that is a difficult thing.
Yeah. Oh, that's Emery's issue right now. I don't want to clean my room. You made this mess. I tried telling you to clean it up while it's small, so it doesn't take it so long. You're not listening.
How old is she?
Like 5.5.
Yeah. Come on, kid.
Yeah. This morning. Yeah.
That's awesome. So, what did you think would be the big takeaways from this process, from accident to now?
Yeah.
What would be a couple of these, like, okay, that was huge. That was a big thing for me.
Man, so I'll put it this way: the accident was meant to happen.
Okay, and that's funny. That was my next question.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's dive into
that. Just after all the trials and struggles of recovery and whatnot, you look back on it and you reflect. And I was in counseling for a few years. Just if I heard a siren, I would cry. I start crying. It just brought me back to the scene of the accident. And so
good for you for doing that. Most people don't.
No, I highly recommend it, man. Just talking to somebody.
I did it, and it was
relieving.
Oh, it was so. Here, you go to yours, and I'm gonna share mine.
Sure. No, you share yours first.
Okay. Well, so I did counseling years back. It was with my ex, and I did somatic therapy, more body stuff. But essentially, I remember, and this is why I encourage. Like this for me was like a life changer. This is the most game changing thing I've ever. One of the most game changing things I've ever done.
Yeah.
And bad, you know, we weren't meant to be together, me and Max.
Yeah.
It's all good, you know, but at the time it's tough, whatever.
For sure. Going
through this, I was like, well, I'm gonna work on myself, and so go to this session. We sit down, we chat. It wasn't even really about much. It was just like, oh, you know, okay, well, this I'm struggling with this. I'm struggling with our relationship and feeling, you know, like I'm always messing up and this and this and doing these. Anyway, and really, like, I'm trying to remember now what it wasn't really a lot. Like, it was just like I knew I wanted help. I knew I wanted to change. I knew, you know, I would get stressed really easy.
Yeah.
And I would get angry at my kids really easy.
Yeah.
And I wanted to break that pattern.
Welcome to the dad life.
Yeah. Because I know, like, you know, I love my dad, but I know there was moments in his life too he wished he could take back too. Right? We all have, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So I knew I wanted to break that. That was the big one.
Yeah.
And so I remember sitting there, and so we chat. And said, okay, well, I'm like, and at that point, I'm like, I want change so bad, like I'll do anything. I don't care.
Yeah, I'll do anything.
Sign me up. And we sat on the table, and she's okay. Well, we're just gonna talk a little bit. And which side feels good for me to stand on, left or right? Okay, she stands on my right side, puts her hand underneath my kidneys, and so I just kind of relax. She's like, yeah, just relax. I'm gonna talk you through where I want you to feel in your brain and back and forth. And so we start going over that, and she's okay. Feel this area. Feel your feet. Feel your hand. What does it feel like? And I'm doing this, and all of a sudden I'm like, okay, like I guess I had to breathe.
Crazy.
What was going on? And she's like, if you start feeling anything, just let it out. And I was like, okay. And I was bawling. I just started literally. I've never cried so hard in my life.
Oh, good.
Like we're talking about like it felt like it was like a decade or two of like
tears built up ready to come out, man.
Tears, and it was insane. It was an hour. I'm not kidding.
You were
I'm
just
bawling.
Dude, awesome.
An hour bawling.
Yeah.
And I had no expectations. I had no expectations. I was like, I know I need change in my life. I know I need to do this. Something's off, and I can't change, you know, and this is something I've learned now is I can't change someone else. I can change me.
Yeah.
So I just bawled for an hour straight, maybe even longer.
Like getting rid of all that.
And we're not talking about like, it was.
No, yeah, like, I believe it. I believe
everything,
it, yeah.
Everything. I probably lost a liter of water.
Yeah.
Of tears.
Yeah.
And it was so, I remember getting up after and we finally just calmed down. And even she was like, oh my God. She's like, well, that was pretty intense. And I was like, yep.
I'm not going out of business.
Yeah. I guess she's signing up for more. But But it was wild because I remember her
not only did I feel better after, obviously, because that release, and now I know a lot more than I did then. That was 6 years ago, probably, maybe more. But it was funny because food started tasting better. I started noticing more stuff. I started recognizing things more. Not only that, I was able to be, in arguments and things. Because we were talking, because we fought a lot, right? And we broke up for a reason. But I was able to handle that stuff more. So this is why I say, like, I'm always encouraging any person I ever talk to, but especially guys. I think there's a big taboo thing there. And I'm always telling them, like, this was a game changer for me. Like, that was a pivotal point in my life where I was like, I am not gonna be this type of person. And I was able to make that, have that, and it was like, oh my god, this is amazing. Awesome. Yeah. So that's when you said that, I was like, I'm excited about that. What's yours? Like, because we, a lot of people do this, but I find sometimes men more than others, maybe not, but I know personally, and maybe you too, but you just kind of take it in.
Oh, always,
just take it in. You take it in because you're not allowed to talk about it, and it's not
not normal or
whatever it is. So yeah. Sorry, I went off.
Yeah, no, that was awesome. Thanks for sharing. No, I had my Brenda, this older lady, and it was nerve-wracking at first. It was just dealing with the insurance, whatnot. I finally came to the conclusion. I said I need to talk to someone. I am depressed. I don't know how to cope with this. I just want someone to talk to that I don't know, that isn't going to what I'm gonna say isn't gonna affect their life somehow by saying the wrong thing out of emotion.
Yeah, you need that. You need to be able to 100%. Verbalize it, right?
So this lady Brenda I went to, just an older lady that she changed my life, man.
Okay.
Like, she was just there for me. Someone who didn't even know me prior. There was so much compassion and so much. It was more than just jotting her notes down and all that. She was involved. She understood. When I got emotional, she got emotional. Like, when I started crying, she started crying. It was like, she helped me. She
made you feel safe.
100%.
Yeah.
I looked forward every week to going to see Brenda. Sometimes I do a double session.
Yeah.
And before, like, this situation, like, I would be the guy to just, I bottle it up.
Yep.
Never talk about it. I can handle it. I'll deal with it. Whatever it is.
Yeah.
Just that thick skin. Now it's like, I'm the total opposite. I share everything. I'm open. Just because I know the difference. Like, it's a like a stigma for guys to just not want to talk about their emotions or anything.
Totally.
But this was huge.
Or for anybody. I mean, talk about it. It's okay. And this is where I kind of draw the distinction. Is like, if you're feeling something, it's good. Like, that's part of being alive.
Yeah.
So feel it. Talk about it. Let it out. But it doesn't mean we're gonna live there. I just need to, like, feel this right now for this moment. If I'm angry at you're angry at the world for God, whoever for making this accident. That's okay. You gotta feel that.
Yeah.
Feel it. Sit with it. Let it happen. And then let it pass.
Yeah, I agree.
And then, okay, how do I move on?
What did I learn from this?
What did I learn?
Lesson?
Right? So she changed your life.
So, just talking with her, whether it be exercises or just sharing what happened, how I'm feeling, what I experienced, to going back to the scene of the accident for the first time.
Wow, how was that?
That was nutty.
Oh, man, I could just be...
It was nerve-wracking,
to
be honest, just looking up at the set of lights, looking at the exact same thing that I was right before I got injured. And so it was definitely something that it took time, because living up in, like I said, Magic Estates, you can go Clement to Clifton, go up, or you can go the long way around. I took that long way for months. I avoided it. I just kept avoiding it. I wasn't ready to face it yet, and I was scared. Of just seeing that, bringing back those emotions of, am I dying? Am I not going to see anyone again? That was all still so real, even a year or so down the road.
Wow.
And so Brenda, she was there for me.
Yeah.
And again, you got your mom, you got your wife, but this is just, it's different.
You know what? It's unbiased, because I'm a verbal processor.
Yeah.
And then So yeah, to have something like that, that's
Yeah.
not gonna, just because you say the wrong thing and you know, or
Yeah.
just the, you know, you're feeling something, you say it, you're not gonna get, you
Yeah.
know, it's not gonna cause an issue, right? So that's
100%.
huge, and you know, thank goodness for those people, right?
Oh,
like
dude,
that's,
yeah.
they're, you know, they're doing some really good work, and yeah, it's amazing.
I know a couple people who do it. It's like, I don't know if I'd feel comfortable with talking up to you, but it was just right place, right time, right person for my situation.
Right person. Yeah,
Who had my back.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't, obviously she didn't go through what I went through, but the emotions
She
and
was
just
with-
helping
she
me
would
stay
sit with you
calm.
with-
Yeah.
That's so cool.
And she was like probably my best friend for a while.
Huh.
It was life changing.
Wow.
And so then eventually, just again, like the medication, you weed it off. Some people go talk to him, keep talking to him, but I like to stand on my own 2 feet. So after seeing her for probably a couple years.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Good.
I needed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
It was like, okay, just time to move on.
Yeah.
And and so looking back now, I was like, the accident was meant to happen.
Right.
I wanted a way out of working up north. Like, it's a great paycheck.
Yeah.
Cool for your early 20s or something, but it's not a life. Like, you're in a big pit of dirt in the middle of nowhere
Yeah.
with a bunch of grumpy old men, grumpy people that don't want to be there either.
Yeah.
And like, you
Going
go
there
back
for
to
a paycheck.
Yeah, you go to camp every night and you're calling your mom, you're calling your wife in tears. I miss you. It sucks.
Calling your family. Yeah.
So, just constantly praying for a way out of that life. Like, give me something else. And again, needing patience. The knock
Not
side
my
of
strong
me.
suit?
Yeah, the knock
Oh,
side of me
that's,
is not patient.
Yeah, that's a tough. My wife always makes fun of me. She's like, "That's not your strong suit."
Yeah.
Whatever.
And so, like, those were 2 things constantly in my daily prayer, where, please, Lord, give me patience to help deal with my problems. And looking back at it now, it's like, what better way than to learn patience is like, boom, you're immobilized in a bed. And so it was just like, okay, I understand this. I went through a lot of hardships.
That's why I laughed, because you realize you're like, oh,
it takes,
I guess I did ask for this.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, you know, and whoever
I didn't
we
expect
pray
it
to
like
God,
this,
we pray to
but
the universe,
yeah.
whatever, we create that, right?
Yeah.
That happens.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
So yeah, no, and then just so many things. Up at work, like right off the bat, financially got kind of tough because I'm not getting a paycheck from work.
You guys pay weekly, right? Too, so it's even different, right?
Yeah, very different.
Yeah.
Had a car payment, had rent or whatever at the time. So not working, things got a little bit behind. But my coworkers, again, just from being me, we've had fundraisers for guys up there that have gone through pretty serious accidents. A couple $100, maybe 1,000 or something.
Sure.
Like, enough to hear, we're thinking of you.
Yeah.
My coworkers, man, they raised like $5,000-6,000 for me.
What?
Yeah, like I just, this one's getting me emotional because I was not expecting it, did not know what was going on. But the guy who delivered it to my home, and we live all across Canada, and we fly to work together. So the guy who delivered it to my home,
Sorry, emotional too.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
His name's Posy, and he brought me this envelope, and his message to me was just like, "Hey man, like, you touch a lot of people's lives up there. You're a good guy. We're sorry this happened to you, and this is our way of saying, hey, like, we're supporting you."
Yeah.
And so
what
like,
an amazing thing.
It was like right time to just like, okay, this gets me by until I can get the insurance and things sorted out, disability and whatnot, right? So it just, everything that felt like a hurdle, like, that's why it's a roller coaster. You're feeling low, but you know you're gonna come back up. And for me, I knew I was gonna come back up every time.
Well, again, especially guys like what was his name?
Posy.
Like Posy delivered
a
mitt full of cash, but you know what? It's such I think what you kind of glazed over it because you're like, maybe deflect, but you made an impact in those people's lives, right? Which is such a cool thing, and that's what this podcast is about. Is like, you know, that's what we're here for, is to make a positive impact on somebody's life. And you know, the relationships and moments. I mean, there's a lot of things, but like for me, me and my wife, we talk a lot. So it's like that's huge. If you can know that you can, like, enough that they're gonna go out of their way to do that.
I know, dude. I was like,
and like how humbling, and like, but also like, wow, like, you know, you did that because of the person you were.
That's what I mean. I was like, I'm just being me. I'm friendly. I'll always no matter what I believe, I'll always treat everyone with respect.
And what a great way to live,
dude.
what a, and
it's nice to get that appreciation for it.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, and not so much you're getting like money, but it's nice when people say thanks. It's definitely a bit different when they show it like that, especially when you're at that low.
It was the message. Like the money's obviously great. It helps, but the fact that he was emotional when he told me, he was like, we did this for you, like you've made an impact on people's lives. Everyone, they all signed a card. I had a stack of cards of people thinking about me, and I was like, you know what, I'm doing okay. Like I have people that love me, and it was those things along the way that it's like, okay, you're going down but you're coming up, you're going down but you're coming up, and you just if you keep going on that upward, like you're gonna be okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what, again, this is something I always try to teach my kids, and I try to remember myself, is that you can't have a high without a low. Because if there's no low, then the high's just normal.
Well, you can't go any lower than rock bottom.
I'm already there. It's
like there's only one direction left. Yeah.
So spaghetti on the ground. Well, this is I guess it's gonna get pretty good from here.
Yeah, very true.
Right, but it's something that I think we forget sometimes. It's like, and this happened. Oh, it's so bad. That just means you're gonna appreciate the next up so much more.
For sure. No, it's the little things from there on. Like, I had a guy driving from Vancouver with his family, just come say hello to me, see how I'm doing.
That's amazing.
So like, it definitely got easier as I was progressing along. The physio and stuff helped like that, step by step, long process, still going through some. But lots of life lessons
So let's talk about them.
Yeah.
So what would be the life lessons, and what would be the, if you were talking to, let's say, somebody right now that was going through that just spaghetti on the ground, can't move, can't see, what would be your message?
Number one, go talk to someone.
Right.
Just keep being you. Don't let what happened to you dictate who you're gonna be.
Right. And you know what? I love that. And Tony Robbins says this. It's a good quote. It's like, be the victor, not the victim.
Yeah, I like that.
Right? I'm gonna be better from this.
Embrace
That's
it.
awesome.
Yeah. Easier said than done, obviously.
Oh, 100%.
But talk to someone.
Yeah.
Share it, get it out.
Right.
And build off of that.
Right.
That's a good starting step. To any sort of recovery or challenge.
Anytime you get kicked in the junk.
Yeah. We're people. Like we need to commune. We're meant to be. Well, that's why we're the dominant species on Earth. Like we're meant to be involved in each other's lives.
Yeah.
And so first thing is, if you're having trouble, if you're broken, if you're mentally or physically, get people involved. Get people, if you can, find someone just to talk to. Yeah. And that's a great start. I wish I did that sooner.
Okay.
Maybe I could have avoided some dark thoughts. But I'm here today. I'm very blessed that I'm walking now. I'm playing the sports that I love. I got my wife and my 2 kids now. Perseverance.
And so what would be for your kids? What's the lesson there for them? Is if it's different at all from...
Don't jump on dad when he's injured.
I say don't.
Emery constantly coming up, crawling on the arm. Ah!
Yeah, I'll show you. When you guys are old enough, I'm going to show you pictures of what I look like. Yeah.
Treat your parents right, with respect.
Okay. Yeah.
I think just because, again, it made my situation so much easier because me and my mom were that close.
Right.
I like to think I'm the favorite child.
I think your sisters would agree.
Yeah. But just my relationship with my mom, and my dad's too. That keep your parents in your life, keep your friends close.
Right. Yeah.
And then when you go through those tough times, when life kicks you in the junk, you got that support.
Yeah.
Parents are to me, everything. Family is everything.
Yeah, and you know what? That's actually, to be honest, one me and Emily talk about all the time. Every time we spend time with you, we're always like, man, I just love Brandon. Him and Desiree are just awesome. Like, we gotta spend more time with them. Like, man, it's because, you know, and Emily's all about that. And I think she, you know, obviously she brings out the best in me, in my opinion. Sure. But it's like, right, she shows up. You show up. You know what I mean? And then what an amazing thing. And, you know, and I know you said, you know, treat parents with respect, never. And I know, man, there's some, we can talk about another podcast, but there's some stuff there in my childhood, but I know for a while I didn't. I struggled with my parents.
Yeah.
I struggled with them for a while, and like they're probably gonna listen to this and go, "What the hell?" But I hated them for a bit.
Yeah. When
I was my early 18, 19, 20s, right around there, but now I'm like, man, how did they do it?
Yeah.
Like how, like, you know, and now I'm like, they're like, super, you know, we still don't see eye to eye on everything
for sure,
but it's like, man, they're saints.
Yeah.
Like, because I got kids now. My daughter's 12, my son's 10. It's like, how the hell did you raise 8 kids and not kill us?
Much once we grow up and we have that, I don't know if it's just parents that get this new type of understanding or a new type of love, but once you experience that, you have a much higher respect for your parents. It's like, wow, like my mom took me to the hospital, I don't know how many times. Yeah. And I had to take Miko once. Yeah. And I called my mom, I'm like, if this is what this feels like, if this is what I put you through every time I went to the hospital, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. I said to my dad all the time, like, man, how did you raise these kids? Like, I'm sorry for this stuff. Yeah. And my mom, like, you fed all of us. There's a lot of us. Yeah. It's like, you know, and you know, it's a lot.
For sure.
It's a lot, so you don't realize it. So yeah, it's cool when you can look back at that and go, and like you said, keep them in your lives.
Yeah.
I know tons of people that, you know, oh, we don't agree, and you know, for whatever reason you disagree. Yeah. And it's like, oh, well, I don't want to deal. You know, I'm done with them. And it's like, you know, and this is, I'm sure you would attest, this life's too short.
Oh, dude,
it's too short to, you know, life's too short to be upset because somebody said something at a dinner table one time, or somebody, you know, whatever, like something that literally didn't matter.
Yeah. No, it's very much nowadays. It's, you got two choices. You could be negative, positive. You could be happy. You could be sad.
Yeah.
And I like to throw that scenario in as much as I can through my daily life is big problem, small problem. Is this negative? Can I be negative about it? Of course, I could be a real dick about it. But you want to be happier. You want to thrive. You want to be joyful. At least, most people, I would say, they would prefer that over being in the negative spot. So a lot of things now, it's like, okay, I'm going to be positive about this, even though Miko running over my toe, just take me off, or whatever it is.
But
right?
I got a kid.
Yeah.
You know, and he's healthy, and
you
he's
look
a
at the positive. Yeah.
He's a little tank, and he's going to grow up to be an awesome human, right? So, absolutely.
No, agreed.
Awesome, man. Well, this has been awesome.
I had a great time.
I learned a ton about you. I learned a ton of, like, some, you know, stuff I want to pass on to my kids.
Yeah.
And I think there's going to be, you know, my hope with this is that even just one person, even if one person listens to this and go, man, I didn't know that, because I know I've listened to stuff like that in the past that's changed my life.
It's wisdom, man.
It's wisdom, and you know, so thank you for sharing.
Yeah, no, I had a blast.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for sharing. I appreciate